Hey, Big Brother fans. So Chelsie won the head of household comp last night, and her targets are a little bit surprising to some extent. One is a repeat house target. The other is an ally. And it's interesting to see where her thoughts on the math are right now, because she could run this week and have everything go the way she wants because of the allies she has and the number of votes available. And of course, there's the big question of whether outgoing HoH Quinn is one of her targets, because several people would like to see him go. So last night on the live feeds, after they came back from the comp, we found out Chelsie won. There was a 4-way tiebreaker in the video quiz with Chelsie, Cam, Kimo, and Makensy all playing in the tie. Chelsie won in the end. Good for her not to throw it, even though she said she would like to have seen one of the others get a letter from home and all that, but she kept her power. Good for her. So the new HoH then talked to everybody, did little one-on-ones about who she should nominate. But it looks like she already had her targets in her head and was just trying to get people around to agreeing and seeing it her way. So if you recall, the All Girls Alliance was on Simmer last week with T-Kor, Chelsie, and Rubina discussing not making it official until they knew who went out in week 7. So they definitely wanted it to be a guy last week and then again this week. So it was Joseph chatting with Julie by the end of the live eviction episode. And of course, Quinn was shocked. His second HoH win as well as his first. You know, the first time he lost his ally Cedric in a vote clip, and now he was blindsided that Joseph went out. I mean, Cedric definitely got shafted, but Joseph, he did that to himself. He talked smack to Angela about her game being over, although I think he did it politely. I don't think he bullied. But then he alienated Makensy and a bunch of others by telling them his game was better than theirs. And, you know, they weren't as much of a threat. Just stupid stuff. In my mind, Joseph practically self-evicted, just playing so badly. And after the comp, Chelsie did the one-on-ones. First up was her crush Cam. She promised him safety, of course. I do suspect he'll be the last of the guys ousted if this girls' alliance gels. And Chelsie did tell Cam she was going to put Angela on the block and was considering Kimo. And Cam, interestingly, was suggesting that Leah might come for her. It almost sounded in a way like he was painting a target on her. But Chelsie was worried that Cam would choose Leah over her and be more loyal to her. And he's like, nah. Yeah, Chelsea's got that angst about Cam's past flirtmance with Leah and him cuddling Makensy this past week. But Chelsie and MJ seem cool now. So definitely feels like a sisters before misters thing. But I think Chelsie will keep Cam around as long as she can. During her chat with Angela, she reminded Chelsie they promised not to nominate each other and was low-key pushing Quinn as who she thought Chelsie should nominate. And then she talked to Angela about being a pawn. And of course, Angela was begging her not to, saying others in the house haven't seen the block and they could be a pawn. You know, it's always a good idea to keep your targets calm, but there is no chill with Angela. And of note, Chelsie did try to cover with Quinn for how she voted to evict Joseph. That was during a chat before the HoH comp, and she pulled the I thought I was voting with the house thing. And with allies falling out left and right, Chelsie in the HoH chair, Quinn may legit be worried, but is he the primary HoH target this week? Well, let's dig in a little more. In the end, Chelsie said very specifically she doesn't want to nominate T-Kor, Cam, Makensy, or Rubina. So that leaves as options for the block, with only 2 nominees to go up this week because the arena is dead: Angela, Kimo, Quinn, or Leah, right? So there's 6 votes up for grabs, which means 3 would force a tiebreak, 4 is an easy evict without the HoH getting blood on her hands. So that's the math. Chelsie, though, okay, she's tight with Rubina, T-Kor, and Kimo. That's 3 votes right there. They would vote how she wants. And if she had to break a tie, Chelsie has the power for it to go this way. So literally, the new HoH could put up anybody she wants. And as long as she kept Rubina, T-Kor, and Kimo off the block, she could write her ticket this week. But either Chelsea's not mathing the math, or she has something else in mind that she's not shared on the feeds. But again, bottom line, anybody else would be safe sitting next to Angela this week, because Leah is the only reason Angela is still in BB26, and she only wanted to get her to jury as a vote. Well, that's done, because the next evicted is the first juror. So Angela's fair game across the house. She's a huge house target. That's not going to get a lot of blood on Chelsea's hands. It's a smart move. Also of note, on the feeds last night, T-Kor told Rubina about the Visionaries Alliance. That's the one, T-Kor, Kimo, and Quinn. And T-Kor told Rubina she actually wants to keep that going in case he wins HoH again, to try to keep them off the block, except Quinn already put Rubina and Kimo on the block. So really, that Visionaries thing is probably only a shield for T-Kor. We'll see if anybody does the math on that among Rubina and Kimo. So Chelsie pre-warned T-Kor that Kimo is going to go up as a pawn, and if he comes down, she'd put Leah up as the renom. But if Angela comes down, that Quinn might be the renom, because she does want to try and keep Kimo safe. So, right now, unless something drastic changes, it's going to be Angela and Kimo going on the block at the nomination ceremony later today. Chelsie wants targets on the block that hopefully won't force her to break a tie, even though she just could run roughshod over the house this week. That's playing a smarter game, a safer game, but if it comes down to it, she may have to gird her loins and, break the tie if the house is divided during her HoH. So what about Quinn? Why is he not a frontline target at this point? So it's interesting. Despite seeming like he could be as big of a house target as Angela just because of who he's nominated and gone after, he's just not. And it's basically a simple case of loyalty. And I like that she's honoring that. Chelsie explained that Quinn kept her off the block during his HoH, and she's going to repay that if she can. So the ladies do hope and plan to dwindle down the guys while also trying to keep the guys from noticing that there's a girls' alliance, And so far, although it's been suggested, I haven't, especially when Tucker was back in the house, I haven't seen the guys saying, oh, let's do the math. I wonder if there's a girls' alliance. So last night, we also saw Angela trying to justify to Kimo why she voted to evict him, saying she thought she was voting with the house, but not with her heart, which to me was kind of weird because she was so butthurt at Joseph, but then she still voted to evict Kimo. And she had been pumping him up all week and encouraging him, and then betrayed him. And what's interesting is T-Kor basically exposed Angela to Kimo by telling him that she told Angela that they had the votes to keep Kimo safe. So there was no reason for her to vote to evict him. So lots of info on the live feeds, with Chelsie letting her allies know who she's targeting and why. And just before they went into the HoH comp, by the way, Quinn had spoken with both Chelsie and MJ, and they both explained why they flipped on Joseph. Chelsie made it clear that it wasn't a betrayal at Quinn, just the best target for her game. Makensy was trying to explain it too, but before we got to her rationale, the feeds bailed on that convo, as they always do when things get good. So in the end, look for Chelsie to nominate two of the same nominees that Quinn put up during his HoH. It's like an HoH replay. Angela and Kimo, with all eyes on Angela as the first juror. Everybody wants her out of the house, out of their hair, just out of their lives right now. Even Leah is not going to shield her this week. So this is pretty much as good as it gets for an HoH. The only blood on Chelsea's hands really is going to be whatever wrath Angela has as a bitter juror. And, Chelsie can probably do some jury management, just saying, the house wanted you up. I didn't want to do it, but I had to, Angela has to know that's true. I mean, she's been burning bridges like a pyromaniac on crack. By the way, I loved that production flamed Angela on the POV episode on Wednesday night, I think, with that montage of her tantrums when she insisted that, she could be Chell she has no chill. Chelsie should have a good week in week 8. We should see Angela pouting in her sunglasses, making snarky underbreath comments when people walk past, and then her having a nice chat with Julie next Thursday, unless she somehow pulls out the power of veto comp win. That's the only way to save herself with the arena gone. And I do kind of want to see Angela around long enough to see her get zinged over her meat and cheese tantrum and crazy eyes and all that. So that's it. Check back soon for an update on the official Chelsie nominations, but it seems like a lock with Angela going on the block, Kimo next to her as a pawn, and the renom set in Chelsea's mind already this week. Seems like a lock. Chelsea's a good game player, and I think she's going to have a very, very good week. The only drama should be the usual Angela antics. Check back soon for more insights right here.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.